Hey, folks, welcome into another live stream that I do. I'm pretty much doing these every Friday around this same time. So, you want to make sure that you subscribe to the channel. You want to make sure that you like, give a thumbs up, and all that great stuff. So, if you're a voiceover artist and you're trying to learn how to really build your voiceover business in a business manner and not like a hobby, you really want to subscribe to this channel. So, first of all, I want to thank everyone for coming in today live. Let me know in the comments who you are, where you're from, if you can hear me, all that kind of good stuff. Today, what I want to talk about is something that I see is a real indicator of where a lot of people are in the voiceover community. And this is all about treating your voiceover business like a business and not like some sort of hobby. And what do I mean by a hobby? A hobby is something that you just kind of do every once in a while. Also, a hobby is something that you do for free. Not something that you look to get paid for. One of the most prevalent things that I see in, especially from a lot of newbies getting into voiceover, there's a lot of misunderstanding of what it really takes to build your voiceover career. Everyone comes into voiceover for the most part starting at ground zero. You don't know anything about your recording environment, how to set that up. You don't know anything about microphones and microphone technique and things of that nature. You don't know how to do script interpretation. You don't know how to get work. And so all of this comes into play. And when you come into it this way, which all of us do, we have a tendency to start off on the wrong foot. We start to put so many horses before the cart, or carts before the horse, I should say, horses. And we're looking at things that we're not even ready to look at yet. Some people that just get into voiceover wanting to dabble in it a little bit to see what the industry is like and how it's going to work out, they, like all of us did, scour the internet. You watch a bunch of YouTube videos on how to do voiceover and how to get work. But let's just be honest, the main thing that everybody coming into voiceover, whether they've never heard of it before or whether they have and they want to get into it, the first thing people jump to want to do is make money. This is like the biggest mistake in the world. You don't even know if you like voiceover yet. You don't even know what you want to do in voiceover. You have no idea how to actually get the work done because you don't know anything about a DAW, much less what does DAW stand for, right? And we have no idea about the recording environment. My own history going back over a decade now, I laugh at how I did this. I laugh at how it is that I actually attempted to get into voiceover. I was in a room actually about this size. There was no treatment on the wall. I was echoing all over the place. I was in a basement. There actually wasn't even a ceiling. It was just the, what do you call them, the slats or whatever that were in, right above me. So there was no acoustical treatment on the ceiling at all, no ceiling. And I remember I spent like $400 on a microphone. I had all of this gear as far as mixers and all of this other stuff going on. And I had no clue, but I thought because I had all of this great gear and, I thought I had a pretty good voice. I thought that that's all I needed to know was that. And so I jumped right onto the pay to plays, which all of you did. Let's just admit it. Who just jumped on the pay to plays? Who just jumped on the freelance sites and just thought they were going to blow up? Put that in the comments. Don't worry about embarrassing yourself because I did it. And even people that don't say, yeah, I did that, they did it. Right. So many brand new voice actors put the cart before the horse in so many ways, just like I did, without having a proper understanding of what actually needs to happen to actually build your voiceover career. So, can I talk about some of the steps here that are so vital? First of all, before you even attempt to make money, you've got to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. And you don't set yourself up for success by trying to jump to the highest paying jobs you can get without knowing what the heck you're doing. So there's a couple things that you need to put in place first. And I talk about this a lot in some of the training courses that I have available now. But You got to make sure that your recording environment is set up, and you have to have a good understanding of what that means. But it's super simple because everybody can start off with a great recording environment, especially if you have a walk in closet with clothes hanging in it. Let me just tell you, it's one of the best things in the world to get started with. You don't have to spend a ton of money on a microphone. You could get away with a $100-$200 microphone. Heck, you can get away to start with a USB microphone, spending about $100 to $200 on a USB microphone, something like an Apogee mic or something like that, and really start learning the craft. You don't want to spend a lot of money at the upfront when you're just learning the craft. And let's just be honest, some people that are even watching this live stream or that'll watch the recording, you don't know what you're doing yet. Some of you do, don't get me wrong, some of you do, but a lot of people that will watch this video, especially on the recording, are going to be brand new people. They're going to be newbies with no understanding of what this actually takes to build. So at the first, you want to get some, you don't want to spend more than $300 on a setup. Really. And you can actually make really good money on that setup. I did in the beginning. I didn't start with this. I didn't start with this studio and with this whisper room and with a, MKH 416 Sennheiser microphone in my booth. I didn't start off that way. This microphone was actually the mic that really got me started when I got serious. And this is an Electro Voice RE320. And I use it now as a broadcast mic because that's exactly what it is. But it has amazing sound, especially if you have it set up right and all that stuff. So getting all of that stuff and learning how to do voiceover is a step that everyone wants to skip. They want to skip the step of earning their stripes. And it's going to take you a while because of the way that this industry is going right now. When I started talking about this 3 years ago, the future of voiceover is your studio right there in your home, right there, your professional studio, which you can have right in your home. And what this means is that this is beyond voiceover. This is beyond something as mundane as having a good voice. Does not matter because every voice can do voiceover. Does not matter what it is. I don't care if your voice sounds smooth as butter. You may still not make good money in voiceover because you don't know the business end of this. So when it comes down to putting all of these things together, you want to focus really for almost, I'm going to say almost a year on a couple of different things because you're going to have to get coaching. And all of you going around it, trying to figure this out, especially if you're struggling with getting work and you don't understand how to do script interpretation, I'm telling you, you better get some coaching around it. This is not something someone can walk into and expect to build this without spending money, period. This is flat out. And too many people have been trying this, and I hope this isn't you. You've been trying this for 2, 3, 4 years, and you still haven't figured this out. You've never invested in yourself and in your own education, which is crazy to me because you're actually trying to build a business, but you don't want to spend any money to do it. Not a good look. The other thing about going beyond that and understanding exactly how to do voiceover, the script interpretation side of it, the acting side of it, and everything else like that, in the age that we live in right now, if you are not a really good audio producer, I'm talking about understanding not just your microphone technique and how close you need to be to the mic and all that kind of stuff, but I'm talking about understanding your DAW to a point where you're pretty much considered really good at this. And if you're not, that is really going to be one of the biggest things that holds you back. There's two key things I think that hold people back. You don't understand the most important aspect of this. Hands down, the most important aspect of your voiceover career is your recording environment. Period. It's your recording environment. The second thing is, which you can get that set up, then you take some courses and some classes on actually how to perform, which a lot of you haven't done. You've got to take some classes on how to perform. Then after that, you've got to get educated on audio production. If you skip that step of becoming an expert audio engineer for voiceover, you will not get work the farther and farther into the future that we go. because in the age that we live in with technology, and because people are beginning to understand that, hey, I can do this in my home and all this stuff. What do I need to learn in order to do that? One of the biggest things is audio production. If you don't understand terms like equalization and compression and downward expansion and all of these things that are involved with you producing the end product, your voiceover career will be dead in the water. It's just that flat out simple. Don't don't think this is easy. It's not. Becoming a professional at audio production is now it's synonymous with being a voiceover artist. It is synonymous with that. And so when you get to that understanding, things will really change, especially when it comes down to what you're getting awarded jobs for. The last thing that I want to talk about is the business end of this. And so many people want to skip over that. You've heard me talk about the easy button, and so many people want to just press this button. Well, if I do this, then I'll get work. Or if I do this, then I'm going to start getting work. Any business, and I want to be as serious about this as I can be. I don't care what the business end that anyone wants to go into, there's a price to entry. There's a cost involved with this. And when you're looking to build a business and you're not willing to invest in you, it means that, I'm sorry, it means you're not serious about this. I spend close to $20,000 every single freaking year on my education through taking courses and particularly in marketing, because I've learned nothing about marketing from the voiceover industry. Nothing. I followed expert marketers. I developed strategies and how to actually build a business, not some sort of hobby that's out here that I'm just doing for fun. This is a business to me. And it's a shift that has to be made in the mind so that you look at it as a business. So many voiceover actors, they spend all day long auditioning, all day long doing this and that on freelance sites and pay to plays, and spend no time building a business because they don't know how to. It's a really different mindset. 90% of what you do needs to be centered around sales and marketing, period. Now, you can keep doing things the way that you've done them, but where has that gotten you? If you're good, you're good. I applaud you. But most people that I see in voiceover, they're not good. They're stuck. They're struggling. They're not growing. And there's some key components to make sure that you are treating this like a business and not a hobby. And one of them is that mind shift to know that you've got to be spending 80, 90% of your time trying to get the client. It's the whole reason why I developed the 4-step framework for a profitable voiceover business. And by the way, in the description of this video, you can actually get that for free. It's, you can get that link for free. Let me see, did I put this in here and see if I can paste that link right into the comments? Yeah, so there's a link you guys can all click and you can start getting an understanding of the framework that I have to actually build a voiceover business, which most people just really don't understand. Too many people are looking for a tip or a trick. They're not looking for a full-blown strategy on how to build this. They're still consuming free content on tips and tricks about how to do this and that. A lot of that is fine, but free tips and tricks will never, ever get you to where it is that you want to be. And it's one of those things where you've got a lot of different mindsets in the voiceover realm in regards to just voiceover in general. And they think that, like so many times before, I'm just going to do what everyone's talking about online to do. And that might not even be right for you to do. It might not even be right for you to do. I am a person, I do not, and if you follow me for any length of time, I do not believe in cookie cutter programs. I do not believe one size fits all. And so many programs and free content that is out there is just that. It's just one size fits all. And it never, ever works. Every one of us is different. And there are different approaches that we have to do different things. Because something worked for someone doesn't mean it'll work for you. You want to know the proof that's in the pudding? If cookie cutter programs worked, if everything that has been done, the surefire way to make six figures in voiceover, or how to make six figures in voiceover within the next 30 days, if all of these things were true, every last one of you would be a six figure VO. Cookie cutter programs don't work. And if you wake up tomorrow and you do the same thing that you did today, and you don't start looking at something different, that's why I'm providing this free 4-step framework. I just put this together. And get that framework, get an understanding of what it is that you need to do. Some of you are at different points and at different levels in your voiceover career. But what I hope through this live stream you do is get a clear understanding that you need to start treating this like a business. And when you treat it like a business, you don't make excuses for failing. You don't make excuses for not winning. You can win. How long is it going to take? So many people, this is a part of the problem. So many people want to know how long it's going to take. And if you say a year, to some people, that's like, oh, well, that's too long. I'm going to try something else. And they go try something else and nothing works. But if you can get started on a process that over the next 1 to 3 years actually works. I'm not talking about pie in the sky here. I'm talking about real business development. This is not 30 days and you're good. It's just not. So I want everyone to go ahead and download that 4-step framework for a profitable voiceover business. And I would love your comments on it. And so what I'm going to do now, I've been talking for 16 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm going to open it up for questions for a few moments. And if you've got questions, I would love to answer them for you. So go ahead and start typing those into the chat section and I will see those here. And if no one has a question, I will bid you all an adieu for the day. But now's an opportunity. If you really have a specific question, make sure that you're clear on your question and go ahead and type that in. But once again, when you are treating this as a business and not a hobby, you don't let anything get in your way. If building a voiceover career is a priority for you, it shows up in the actions that you take every day. Is it your priority or is it not? Look at your actions. And don't think that just because you're refreshing your screen and you're putting in proposals or you're doing auditions, that this is a priority. That doesn't make it true. When you're talking about business development, it goes beyond probably everything that you've done before. It goes beyond what has gotten you to where you are, because what has gotten you to where you are is pretty much where every other VO is: stuck, struggling, not growing. All right. Let's see. Doesn't look like any questions are coming in. So let me just double check here. Okay. Yep. Hey, Dale, glad to see you in the mix, man. All right, so I want to thank you guys for watching this live stream with me this morning. Put in your comments. Also, if this has been valuable, I would definitely appreciate it if you shared this out on your social media networks. Cassandra saying, hi, Earl, will this work for talk show host? Now, that's interesting because I've been a talk show host for a while. This is a talk show. In essence, this is a talk show. But when you're looking at, and I'm assuming, Cassandra, you're asking about the 4-step framework for a profitable voiceover business. It's made specifically for VOs to do what they need to do. As far as being a talk show host, there are plenty of courses out there on how to start a podcast, how to get subscribers to a podcast, which is important. Because if you don't have someone listening, if you don't have an audience, then you really don't have a talk show. It also depends on the platform that you select. And it doesn't matter the platform, whether it's a YouTube, whether it's a podcasting platform, like a Spreaker or a Blog Talk Radio or whatever the platform you're going to use. The key component into all of that is getting people to hear what you have to say. So what I would do is I would start consuming some content, whether it's right here on YouTube or even on the podcast. Start looking at how to be successful as a podcaster or a talk show host. It's synonymous, because right now, for instance, I'm going to give you this piece of advice, Cassandra, because this is key. When you have a podcast or a YouTube channel or whatever, and you want ears on it and all that stuff, there's some strategies that go behind it. But don't get this twisted. Most of the people that will consume your content, and I'm saying this especially if you're going to be doing it live, if you're going to be doing it live, like right now, there are 7 people watching this live stream. By the end of the day, it'll be over 100 that have watched it. They weren't here live. So when you create content, have it always in your mind that you're creating it for the replay. You're creating it for the people that did not see it live. This is the whole thing. And when you get that in your mindset, numbers won't make as much of a difference to you, especially if you're trying to do a live talk show. You're not going to have the majority, I mean, 90% of the people that listen to your talk show are going to be listening to it on a replay. They're not going to be listening to it live. All right. So I hope that answers your question. But once again, guys, thanks so much for being here with me today. Make sure that you get that 4-step framework for a profitable voiceover business. And it's right in the description of this video. And I'll probably put a, what do they call that? A card on this video later so that people can click on that as well. So once again, thanks so much for being here with me today. And I'll probably see you guys next Friday. Have a great weekend. Bye now.